The pain that teaches why Stoics never waste their suffering. Pain, a word every human understands, a feeling none of us can escape. Some pain enters slowly, like a quiet shadow. Some arrives suddenly, like a storm that destroys everything in a single night. But every kind of pain has one thing in common. It changes us. The Stoics believe something powerful. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your trainer. Pain is the force that reveals who you really are. But most people run from pain. They hide it, deny it, fear it. They try to numb it. They try to pretend it doesn't exist. What they don't realize is this: the same pain that breaks people is the pain that can build you if you refuse to waste it. This isn't just another story. This is a journey into the heart of human suffering and the rebirth that follows. Tonight, we walk with a young man named Aiden. Aiden's life collapsed quietly, piece by piece. His job was failing. The person he loved walked away. Someone he trusted betrayed him. And every dream he once cared about fell apart. One cold night, he walked alone down an empty street. His phone vibrated again. Another reminder of failure. Another demand. Another reason to feel like nothing was working. He ignored the message. He didn't have the strength for it anymore. He kept walking until he reached a bridge, a place he often visited when he needed silence. He stood there, leaning on the railing, staring at the dark water, and the question he had been avoiding for months finally rose inside him. Why does everything hurt so much? Why me? His eyes filled with tears, not the loud, angry kind, but the quiet tears that come when a person has been strong for far too long. He whispered, "I've lost everything. I don't even recognize myself anymore." Footsteps approached from behind. Aiden quickly wiped his face. He didn't want anyone to see him like this. An older man stopped beside him. He didn't look familiar, but he carried a calmness that felt strangely comforting. The man said gently, "Rough night?" Aiden forced a weak smile. Something like that. The man didn't ask for details. He didn't judge him. He simply stood there, breathing in the same cold air, looking at the same river. After a long silence, the man spoke. "You know, pain feels like punishment. It feels unfair. But sometimes, pain is simply an invitation." Aiden frowned. An invitation to what? The older man looked at him with soft, steady eyes. "To meet the person you were supposed to become." Aiden didn't respond. He didn't know what to say. The man continued, "When life hurts this much, it's not random. It's not meaningless. It's not an attack. Pain is restructuring you. Pain is removing what you didn't have the courage to let go of." Aiden shook his head. "It doesn't feel like growth. It feels like destruction." The man smiled kindly. "Sometimes destruction is the first step in rebuilding." His voice lowered. The Stoics had a rule: never waste your suffering. If life gives you pain, learn from it before you heal from it. Aiden looked at him, confused but curious. "What am I supposed to learn from all of this?" The man asked softly. "What hurts the most?" Aiden swallowed. "I lost someone I loved. I trusted people I shouldn't have. I failed at work. And it feels like I failed myself." The man nodded slowly. "You are hurting because you believed everything would stay the way it was. But life doesn't work like that. Nothing stays. No one stays. Everything changes." And the Stoics understood this deeply. He continued, "You're in pain because you wanted life to match the picture you created in your mind. But pain arrives the moment life teaches you that you were never in control." Aiden's eyes dropped. He breathed slowly, shakily. "You are not breaking," the man said. "You are awakening." Aiden whispered, "I don't know how to use pain as a lesson. I only know how to feel it." The man's voice became firm but warm. "Start with one thing. Stop asking, 'Why me?' Start asking, 'What is this trying to teach me?' Aiden nodded slowly. The wind touched his face. Something felt different. He didn't feel healed, but he didn't feel hopeless either. For the first time in a long time, his pain didn't feel meaningless. The man continued. There are 3 kinds of pain that teach us the most. The pain of loss, which teaches gratitude. The pain of betrayal, which teaches boundaries. The pain of failure, which teaches discipline and humility. Every pain comes with a lesson. Most people run from the pain, so they miss the lesson. Aiden whispered, So, this pain isn't here to destroy me? The man smiled. No, pain is here to remove everything that wasn't truly yours. Your illusions, your expectations, your attachments, your need for approval, your belief that life owes you something. He paused. What remains after pain is the real you. Aiden took a deep breath. For the first time in months, the world didn't feel like it was collapsing. It felt like it was changing, and maybe he could change with it. Maybe I've been fighting the wrong thing, he said quietly. We all do at first, the man replied. He turned to leave. Aiden called out, Wait, can I know your name? The man smiled without turning around. You don't need my name. You just need the lesson. And he walked away. Aiden stood alone on the bridge, but he didn't feel empty. He felt something new, a seed of strength, a beginning, the kind of beginning that only pain can create. Aiden walked home from the bridge with slow steps. The night was still cold, but something inside him had changed. The weight on his chest was still there, but now it felt lighter, as if someone had quietly lifted half of it. He kept replaying the man's words in his mind. Pain is an invitation. Pain removes what is not yours. Don't waste your suffering. He didn't understand everything yet, but he felt something shift inside him, like a locked door cracking open for the first time. When he reached his apartment, it felt emptier than before. Not because anything was missing, but because he was now aware of how much pain he had been hiding in those walls. He sat on the floor and whispered to himself, If pain is a teacher, what exactly is mine trying to teach me? He closed his eyes. Memories rushed in. Good ones. Painful ones. Ones he wasn't ready to face, but needed to. The memory of the breakup hit him first. The night she left. Her quiet voice saying, I'm sorry, Aiden. I'm not happy anymore. At that time, he thought losing her meant losing his worth. He thought her leaving was proof that he wasn't enough. But now, with the old man's words echoing inside him, he saw the memory differently. He whispered, I wasn't losing myself. I was losing someone who wasn't meant to stay. A strange calm washed over him. Painful, yes, but freeing. Another memory rose. The betrayal from a friend he trusted. The moment he discovered the lies. The shock, the anger, the disappointment. But this time, he didn't feel rage. He felt realization. That pain wasn't betrayal. It was protection. Life removed them before they could do worse. Then the third memory came. His failure at work. The project he worked on for months gone. The rejection. The embarrassment. The fear of being judged. He felt the sting again, but only for a moment. Then he breathed deeply and whispered, Failure didn't end me. It humbled me. It pushed me toward who I can become. The more he thought, the more he understood what the man meant. Pain teaches. If you listen. Aiden opened his eyes. The room was silent. No messages, no distractions, just stillness. He stood up and walked to the mirror. His reflection looked tired, but something new was there. A softness, a strength that wasn't loud or dramatic, but steady, like a flame refusing to go out. He whispered to his reflection, You're not broken. You're rebuilding. He didn't know where the words came from, but he felt them. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. It was a message from the same friend who betrayed him. "Hey man, can we talk?" Aiden stared at the screen. Before tonight, that message would have shattered him. He would have replayed every detail, every mistake, every conversation. But now, he felt no desire to respond. Not out of anger, but out of understanding. Some people must remain behind for your life to move forward. He put the phone down gently. No reaction, no fear, just clarity. Pain had begun its work. He walked to his window and looked outside. The night was still, the streets quiet. He felt calm not because life was easy, but because he finally stopped fighting what he couldn't control. He whispered into the darkness, "Maybe I needed to lose everything to find myself." In that moment, he realized something the Stoics had always taught. Pain doesn't arrive to destroy you. Pain arrives to introduce you to the strongest version of yourself. And for the first time in a long time, Aiden felt ready to rebuild, not from desperation, but from understanding. He closed the window, turned off the lights, and lay down. Not with fear, not with anger, but with a quiet truth resting in his heart. The pain he thought would break him was beginning to shape him. Sometimes life brings you to a point where everything feels like it's collapsing at the same time. Not for a moment, but for a long, exhausting stretch. And in that stretch, pain quietly begins its real work, changing you, shaping you, and turning you into someone you never imagined you could become. The Stoics said, "Pain is a signal, not the end." Pain doesn't mean you're breaking. Pain means you're transforming. Your old self is falling apart, and a new version of you is rising, slowly, quietly, powerfully. Most people run away the moment pain shows up. They distract themselves with their phone, friends, noise, entertainment, anything that keeps them from feeling. But the one who stops and listens to pain, that person changes the direction of their entire life. Have you noticed this? Some pain comes from losing someone, some from betrayal, some from working hard and still failing, and some comes from carrying the weight of your own expectations. Every kind of pain asks you one question: what will you choose, breaking or learning? And the Stoic answer is always the same: learn, no matter how much it hurts. Your pain respects you. It comes only when you are ready to grow, whether you realize it or not. Life never gives the wrong lesson at the wrong time. It always arrives exactly when it's meant to. We just understand it too late. So don't waste your suffering. Let it teach you. Let it show you where your limits end and where your real strength begins. Because the same pain that breaks your heart is the pain that teaches you how to rise again. And when you rise, you're no longer the person you once were. You're wiser, stronger, clearer, and more alive than before. There comes a moment when the pain you've been carrying starts to change its shape. It's no longer sharp, no longer chaotic, no longer something that overwhelms you. It becomes quieter, steadier, almost like a teacher who sits beside you, waiting for you to finally understand the lesson. The Stoics believe that suffering becomes wisdom the moment you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Because the truth is harsh, but simple. Life doesn't break you to punish you. It breaks you to rebuild you. Every heartbreak teaches you how to love yourself. Every betrayal teaches you who deserves your trust. Every failure teaches you what truly matters. And every disappointment teaches you where not to place your hopes again. Pain is not random. Pain is precision. It removes the unnecessary pieces of you, the fears, the illusions, the expectations, and leaves behind only what is real, steady, and unshakable. And sometimes the real lesson is this: you were stronger than you thought. You were more patient than you realized. You were more resilient than the world ever gave you credit for. The Stoics said that suffering becomes wasted only when you come out of it unchanged. When you feel the hurt but ignore the message. When you go through fire but refuse to come out forged. So ask yourself gently, what has my pain been trying to teach me all this time? Maybe it's teaching you to let go. Maybe it's teaching you to slow down. Maybe it's teaching you to trust life's timing. Or maybe it's teaching you to finally choose yourself. And once you understand the lesson, the pain doesn't disappear, but it stops controlling you. It becomes something you carry with calm dignity. Like a warrior who knows every scar is proof of survival, not defeat. This is why the Stoics never wasted their suffering. Because pain, when understood, becomes power. There is a moment, quiet and almost invisible, when your suffering begins to mature into wisdom. It doesn't happen suddenly. It happens slowly, silently, like sunrise creeping across a dark mountain. One day, you look back and realize the things that once shattered you no longer have the power to touch you. The people who once controlled your emotions no longer shape your peace. The thoughts that once kept you awake at night now pass through your mind like distant clouds. This is the transformation pain creates, not by force, but by patience. The Stoics taught that every hardship leaves behind a gift, but most people never open it. They rush through hurt. They numb it. They blame others. They escape. And because of that, they never discover the strength that was waiting quietly inside their suffering. But you're different. You're someone who is learning to sit with your pain instead of running from it. You're someone who is learning to breathe through the moments that once made you break. You're someone who is slowly and maybe unknowingly becoming unshakable. Pain has been training you for a life you didn't even know you were preparing for. Training your patience, training your resilience, training your heart to endure without closing, and training your mind to see clearly even when life becomes dark. This is why the Stoics said that suffering is not your enemy. It is your awakening. You don't become wise through comfort. You don't become strong through ease. You don't become grounded through praise. All of those things feel good, but they don't build you. What builds you, what shapes you, what makes you stable, calm, and powerful is the pain you learn to face with courage. And when you finally understand this, something beautiful happens. You stop fearing pain. You stop fighting life. You stop thinking you're cursed. You begin to trust the process. You begin to trust yourself. And slowly, you begin to see that every moment of suffering was guiding you toward a version of you that your old self could never have become. Your pain was never wasted. It was your turning point, your teacher, your quiet transformation. And now, you rise with a wisdom that no comfort could have ever given you. Thank you for watching. Stay grounded, stay strong, and subscribe for more timeless Stoic wisdom.